Hello everyone. How to organize a competition. Where do I even begin? How about with this magnetic GTS from Cube Depot? It's awesome. If I could just get used to this teal plastic, I could work with this for a while. Okay, so down to business. How do you organize a competition? Because I'm in the boat that you're in, where I had no idea. You know what? You're in a completely different boat. You guys who want to organize competitions have already attended competitions. Before I organized my competition, I had only attended one competition. And the only reason I had attended that competition was because I had never attended a competition. And as an organizer, it always helps to start there. Right away, I'm going to say that in the description box is a Google document to an email that Chris Olson sent me back in April of 2016, because I noticed on the Cubing USA website that he was hosting a competition, Cube Melt 2016, and so I went through the chat thing on there, the sending message thing on there, and he responded back. So that is in the description box via Google Doc, and feel free to ask me any additional questions in the comment section below about this whole process. So from this video, you're going to get my perspective on it. So here's what it is. Whenever somebody asks me, how do I organize a Rubik's Cube competition? What's the first thing I should do? I always say that you need 3 things ready to go, and that would be a venue, a delegate, and some sort of idea of the events that you want to host at the competition, and a schedule with those events. Because when you're communicating with the delegate, at least you have something to send them. Okay, so the venue. Let's start there. Lots of venues cost money. St. Mary's Scramble cost money, but I only had to pay $150. Mars Mix-Up was free because I work at the school. And Iowa State Spring, Sports Iowa Spring, was not free. It was actually really pricey, because with that one, so here's the other thing too, is the equipment that they can provide. So at the indoor soccer field, we had to rent additional tables and chairs, and each one of those pieces, including each and every chair, costed money. So that factors into the total cost of the venue. St. Mary's Scramble, they set everything up. But then for food, we had to order their catering. So you have to factor in those costs. So costs, which leads to, say, your events and schedule and how much you're going to charge to get into your competition. You know, the competition, I'd say that, the soccer cubing event was the most I've ever charged for anyone to get into a competition. $20. St. Mary's Scramble was $10. and Mars Mix-Up was $15, and $10 just to do 3x3. And it's just and so it just all factors into cost of things. You know, the soccer event was the most expensive, and it was also the largest competition that I've ever organized. You know, St. Mary's Scramble was only a 70-person competition. And and then I also had a sponsorship with that one, so I had extra money. So it's like, depends on how much money you need to make to host the event. And then with Mars Mix-Up, the venue was free, so I just said, if you're, you know, and also you have to think about the people that would be coming. Mars Mix-Up was a sideshow because the side events are so much easier to do. Well, let's not say that, but so much easier to do than 5x5 or 4x4 or 6x6. So for example, the Nebraska competition had, I'm looking at some notes, 2x2, Scube, Pyraminx, Square 1 and Megaminx for the higher level cubers. You know, you got to try to throw in it's like you got to know your audience, and like 50% of the Mars Mix-Up competitors were new, so they were able to compete in 4 events. You know, like say they did 2x2, 3x3, Scube, and Pyraminx. You know, then you get to do 4 events at your first competition. so then I knew that with Iowa, I would probably get a lot more seasoned cubers. So I had one-handed and blindfolded and 4x4 and 6x6 and 7x7, stuff like that. And St. Mary's Scramble was a toss-up of 9 events, like I mean, not everything, but like everything. There was 6x6, there was cube, there was pyramids, there was 4x4, you know, there's blindfolded, all these challenging events mixed in with these easy events, so that, because once again, half the competitors were new. So you got to think about that. Also dates, you know, I live in the Midwest. So in the Midwest, there's, let's see, there's Iowa that now is going to be hosting yearly competitions. Ayo! Iowa, Minnesota, Kansas, Missouri. You know, it's like you kind of got to know who does yearly competitions at a particular time of year, and then you have to try to squeeze yours in where you can squeeze them, you know, because they've got the ground there. And so it was kind of challenging, you know, so I did a summer competition, then I did a winter competition, which is very risky in the Midwest because of snow. And so you don't want to be paranoid about like, oh my gosh, is there going to be a blizzard? And you're checking the weather every single day. Like, oh no, there's a 60% chance of snow. Yes, the snow is lessening. You know, it's like you're on pins and needles the whole time. It's like, is it going to snow? So it's like, do you want to host a winter competition? Do you want to host a summer competition? It's hot. You know, Omaha is hot in the summer. It was 90 degrees at St. Mary's Scramble, you know. And then so this last competition, the weather was just perfect. You know, it's like, if I could have anything go right, could it be the weather? So let's see what else I have here. So we got venue size. It needs to accommodate at least 3 times the number of competitors, because competitors always bring people. Most, I'd say 80 to 90% of the competitors bring somebody, you know, usually their people aren't there alone. So you need room for those extra people. Plenty of chairs. Make sure you have enough chairs. And then also how much to charge. If you want t-shirts, you should charge more, you know, and then how much can you afford, you know, where are you getting your food, things like that. So there's a lot to think about. And I think that's all I'm going to say with this one. If you have any extra questions for me, please let me know, and I'll do my best to answer them. Hopefully they're good questions. And definitely read that document from Chris Olson that he sent me, so you can also learn from him. And see ya.